There are mornings when the world feels heavy, when the quiet of dawn seems to echo with a kind of emptiness that stretches further than the horizon. And on those mornings, I often find myself recalling the small rituals that my grandmother lived by. Simple gestures that carried more wisdom than many modern guides on happiness, and it always begins with the memory of her kitchen, where the soft clatter of pots and the slow simmer of something fragrant on the stove were less about food itself and more about the way love could be stirred into every meal, reminding everyone at the table that nourishment was not only for the body, but also for the spirit, because Grandma's recipes were never just about taste. They were lessons wrapped in flavors, messages about patience, kindness, and care, passed down silently but permanently to those who were willing to notice. She used to say that cooking was a conversation with life, that when you chopped vegetables slowly instead of rushing, you were teaching yourself presence, that when you tasted the soup to see if it needed more salt, you were reminding yourself to check in with your own heart, and when you shared the finished meal, you were practicing generosity without ever needing to speak the word. I didn't understand this when I was young. I only knew that the warm bread she baked seemed to carry comfort that could calm even the stormiest moods. But now, as years have added their own weight to my shoulders, I find myself returning to that kitchen in memory, realizing that her quiet wisdom about food and life was really a map for emotional strength and balance, a kind of manual hidden in everyday gestures. And it is no surprise that now so many guides on emotional well-being tips echo the very things she lived so naturally. What always struck me most about her was how much attention she gave to the beginning of the day, because she believed mornings set the tone for everything that would follow. And instead of rushing into the noise of chores, news, or gossip, she would step outside first thing, no matter the season, and tilt her face toward the light, reminding anyone around her, in her simple but confident way, that it was important to get some morning sun, not as an indulgence but as a necessity, because that gentle glow was nature's medicine, a silent promise that today, no matter how difficult, began with light. She did not know the scientific language for it, but she intuitively understood what now researchers confirm, that sunlight helps regulate our rhythms, that it gently lifts the spirit, and that it strengthens both bones and mood, which is why she always insisted we spend at least a few minutes outside at dawn, whispering with a smile that we needed it for vitamin D and a good mood. Her words so simple and almost playful at the time, but so undeniably true. I remember watching her stand by the small garden, the morning breeze lifting her hair, her hands still dusted with flour from kneading bread, and realizing that this act of stepping into the light was more than just a physical ritual. It was a way of telling life, I am here, I am ready, I will meet you with openness. And perhaps that is why her days rarely seemed rushed, even though she worked hard, raised a family, tended to the home, and never had the luxuries of rest we sometimes chase so frantically today. She carried in her small practices the essence of what many now call mindfulness. Though she never used such words because her understanding of peace was not intellectual, it was lived, embodied in daily rhythm. And so as I reflect on her life, I realize that the world often hides its greatest wisdom in the simplest practices in kitchens, where soup simmers in gardens, where the sun greets your face, in small notes of encouragement that might be spoken without emphasis, but linger for decades guiding those who heard them. Perhaps that is why so many modern seekers return to traditions of the past, why they write about emotional well-being tips as though they are new, when in fact they are ancient, passed down in whispers, stored in the folds of old recipe books stained with flour and oil, waiting for us to rediscover what we already knew. What would happen if we lived again by those lessons? If we allowed ourselves to begin each day not with a race against the clock, but with the slow unfolding of intention, if we let cooking be more than convenience and instead made it a ritual of love, if we remembered that health does not only come from pills and supplements, but also from the way we honor the sun each morning, stepping outside with gratitude, saying silently to the universe that we recognize the gift of warmth, that we are willing to start anew. I imagine that life would shift, perhaps not in dramatic bursts, but in subtle, profound ways, like a garden slowly blooming after winter. For me, these practices became lifelines in adulthood, when the pressures of work, responsibilities, and invisible expectations sometimes threaten to erode my peace. On mornings when anxiety presses heavily, I choose to step into the light, repeating her words about sunlight. And though they are simple, they anchor me. When loneliness creeps in, I cook something slow, a dish that takes patience. And as the scent fills the air, I feel less alone, as though she is beside me. When sadness whispers, I turn to the small notebook where I once scribbled her advice, realizing that these emotional well-being tips are not merely instructions, but keys to living with grace. In truth, I believe we all carry fragments of this kind of wisdom from those who came before us, whether in the form of old songs, family rituals, or favorite sayings. And perhaps the real challenge of modern life is not that we lack guidance, but that we are drowning in too much noise, forgetting the quiet voices that once kept us steady. If we could silence that noise, if we could pause to hear again the soft murmur of past generations, we might find that everything we seek, resilience, balance, joy, was always hidden in those small gestures in sunlight, in recipes, in the act of beginning each morning with intention. And so as I write this, I imagine you, reader, perhaps caught in your own whirl of modern demands, perhaps scrolling through endless lists of strategies and methods to find peace. And I want to tell you this: the answers may not be as far away as you think. They may be waiting in the memory of your grandmother's kitchen, in the taste of bread baked with care in the garden outside your door, where the sun is waiting to greet you, in the reminder that you too deserve to step slowly into the day, to breathe deeply, to take in the light, to nourish yourself with both food and kindness, and to allow life to be more than survival, to allow it to be a practice of quiet joy. Because sometimes the greatest wisdom is not found in complicated systems or new inventions, but in the old rhythms we once overlooked, and perhaps the time has come to return to them. To remember that mornings are sacred, that recipes are love in disguise, that sunlight is medicine, and that well-being is built not in grand achievements, but in the steady, humble acts of caring for ourselves the way our grandmothers once cared for us.